Narcissists do not know how to answer direct questions, and asking fact-finding and challenging questions is not a sin. It shows you value yourself and understand your worth. Investigate your partner by asking clear, purpose-aligned questions. What asking fact-finding questions does is help you reveal the man with purpose and fish out the man without purpose. One time, a repentant gigolo came to my office, shouting, stonewalling at the top of his voice, abusive and pouting as we spoke. I found out that his girlfriend and soon-to-be wife went silent on him after his insistent rejections and indecisiveness. The silence of his soon-to-be wife is killing him slowly. His pride prevents him from reaching out. It turned out that, after all, he wasn't as repentant as he claimed, as he was future faking, telling the lady he was over the relationship, and then receding back into her life to see if she would chase him. The poor lady wasn't chasing him, and he was running head over heels as his mind kept playing tricks with him. Later, I succeeded in bringing the lady in for psychotherapy. All the repentant gigolo told me was a half-truth. The lady, his soon-to-be wife, is humble, and her calm demeanor was irritating his demons. Because the lady was working in her purpose, as men were frolicking over her like bees, they were drawn to her purpose, but the repentant gigolo mistook it for flirting. Galatians 6:7 and Psalm 32 verse 3 to 4 perfectly depicts this story. You cannot compromise peace to keep other people warm. Stop cashing. Instead, pursue purpose. Pursue purpose, and you will see the patterns for what they are. Stop ignoring red flags and tolerating bad behavior, and call it endurance. He who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. Proverbs 18:22. Your wife is not just your divine wife. She is your favor and potter. You mistreat her, favor begins to leave you, and divine covering begins to run away from you. Partnership or marriage is spiritual and sacred. You cannot break your divine partnership or marital vow and still expect favor. And you cannot continue to lie and step outside your relationship of courtship or marriage and expect a miracle from God. Love is sacred. As for you, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good, so that many people should be kept alive, as they are today. Genesis 50, verse 20. May the Lord repay you for what you have done, and may you get a full reward for your deeds. The God of Israel, under whose wings you have come to take refuge. Ruth chapter 2, verse 12. When faith and prayer collide, intercession is born. You cannot continue to mistreat grace and expect favor to turn grace. And you cannot continue to mistreat favor and expect grace to announce your name. A wounded woman's prayer carries grace, and her prayer becomes intercession, and her tears become supplication, and heaven cannot ignore. At its core, you cannot continue to hurt others and expect intercession. Pain gives depth to prayer, and the prayer of an intercessor is like an anointing oil of purpose. Dear ladies, do not let pain make you bitter. Instead, let it harden you and make you more spiritual. Do not allow bitterness cloud your judgment. Instead, let it point you into the light. Let them build you and transform your pain into prayer that opens doors of your destiny and purpose. To the men, when you injure a praying woman, you create a spiritually awakened intercessor who hell fears her fury, and the words of her mouth carry power. Do not underestimate the prayer of a praying woman. When she blesses you, it turns into an instant miracle. Her pain gives birth to prophets, and her prayer covers wounded generations and destinies. God will turn our abandonment into redirection of God's purpose, triggering a call in a call. Contrarily, I had several men frolicking around me after I returned from Asurok, which was a sightseeing, turned out to be a nightmare, a show of love bombing. As I grew older, I sat down, prayed, and paid attention to the consistent pattern of men. I found out that the engineering graduates and the different types of engineers and those in the engineering field, e.g., the sailors, the aerospace engineers, mechanical engineers, civil engineers, civic engineers, electrical engineers, metallic engineers, marine engineers, the tech and software engineers, even those engineers who dropped out of school, now involved in scavenging, were interested or attracted to me. and wanted me to become their wife. I went into prayer. I prayed for 10 years, not only for my divine husband, but also for my career and purpose, until the real one showed up. I experienced an open heaven. From east, west, north, and south, I experienced God's supernatural favor and healing grace. Pay attention, sit, and observe. Learn where and why these particular types of men are consistent in your life. The roadmap, the signal that God is speaking through you and telling you that your husband's line of work is in this peculiar field. Focus on what matters. Discard the rest. Live a righteous life. Righteousness is an asset, not a curse. Who is this Judas? The first time I met my divine husband was when he asked the secretary a question about the office of our assistant CEO. However, the secretary rudely replied to him, "I served as the senior account officer and bossa, while also holding the roles of human resource administrator and internal consultant." Manners equally matter in meeting your divine husband. Noticing the secretary's rude manner, I quickly stood up from my seat to attend to his request. While my divine husband was working and training, I was also working, studying, and taking several training courses or short courses. However, I never knew he would end up my divine husband, because that was the last thing on my mind at the time. In the second encounter, I met my husband. I was praying at the grotto, and he passed by me, and I said to myself, "Who is this Judas?" The importance of manners in attracting your divine partner cannot be overemphasized. Manners play a crucial role in everyday living. From developing interpersonal relationships to professional interactions, manners are key. Yes, he is the one, as I felt peace within me for centuries. As I walked into his office, I heard, "Welcome to salvation." I did not know if it was my mind, our hearts, or if those words echoed in unison. He told me to have my seat. I chose his prayer instead. In years, I felt peace as we had a healthy conversation. No manipulative tantrums, emotional or financial needs, or clinginess. The conversation was not only healthy, but also filled with integrity and purpose. And the peace I felt was extraordinary, as we communicated in alignment and clarity. If it's not consistent, it is not integrity. If the man in your life does not give you the healthy, clear communication, you are dating the wrong guy. Choose righteousness over kindness, because righteousness helps you see the red flags and patterns for what they are, as the signs of toxic relationships or workplace come into the light, helping you see true kindness suckers manipulative tantrums, thus allowing you to know those who genuinely need your kindness. A guy who truly cares about you will listen and learn. They will not consistently break your boundaries or keep doing the very things that you say you do not like. A man who understands love will treat you with respect and will not compromise your peace or keep making excuses for his bad behavior, only to bully you to submission when things do not go his way, or consistently apologize for his bad behavior. A man who repeatedly crosses your boundaries is not thinking clearly about your peace. Remaining in such a relationship will not only bring you chaos, but also a toxic mindset. When pride and pride marry, the result is consistent arrogance and a chaotic household. No peace, only war. But this chaos fuels their energy, making a toxic marriage. It is not about an alpha male or an alpha female getting married. It is about a lack of humility, a lack of being humble, or a lack of understanding in marriage that brings about a chaotic home. When one partner loves attention seeking and the other loves gossiping and slandering, nobody sees their wrongdoings, but they point fingers at each other, slandering one another as they see every conversation as an attack on their personality. Thus, everyone is a saint, not a sinner in this contest. We see this scenario perfectly depicted in Matthew chapter 7, verse 5. Nobody wants to listen to another. Instead, they would prefer a third party or seek validation from their children or from an outsider rather than listen to their partner's advice or counsel. The law of proximity states that if he does not treat you well in a relationship, he will not treat you well in marriage. Saying no is not toxic. Saying no means you value yourself. Set healthy boundaries. Setting healthy boundaries says, treat me with respect. As men want respect, it is the same thing with women who set healthy boundaries. Respect me and I will respect you in equal measure. If you do not value yourself, no one will. Prioritizing your mental peace is not costly. It is priceless.